I saw the hint of an orange envelope in my mailbox here on 654 McKinley, but false alarm, it is not one of my orange letters being returned to sender. I think spring has officially sprung here at 654 McKinley. I just got done doing my run. I haven't been doing so many laps these days as that I need my sidewalk chalk, which survived the winter, to write down how many laps I did. I only did about 2.5 miles today. But now, I think just because it's so darn nice out, I'm gonna go for a little walk and see how long it takes for me to walk 15 minutes, see how far around the circuit I get. Here's my starting line right here, this green swath. So I'm gonna start the timer and going. See how far I get in 15 minutes. I was getting a little nervous today as I was running. No, the police aren't after me with their, "Sorry, sir, all the people of Neenah have signed a petition and it says that you can no longer wear a tank top while you're running outside, no matter how hot it is." My muscles are still pretty shapely for an old geezer, but it's that shoulder puberty you gotta watch out for. These random hairs that just kind of spring up on your shoulder blades intermittently. They really are disturbing, especially to me. Now, it's at the tail end of my run that I found my Marlboro cigarette pack. I was worried I was going to make the circuit without finding one, and every time I go running, basically I have this mindset that I'm not going to stop running until I find my cigarette pack. So luckily for me, I found it and I didn't have to venture near the train tracks. There is always a cigarette pack near the train tracks. It is a beautiful day. Now, I had a lot of plans for today, and it includes making a very, very long video because recently I've been making 13-second videos. I've been working an average of 17 hours a day with an hour travel time back and forth. That's an 18-hour day. Doesn't leave a whole lot of time for anything except maybe a nap and a shower, and maybe a bite of something to eat. But I have today off. I'm going to make the most of it and try to make the world a better place. I have a lot on my mind today. I'm going to go pick up a couple of pizzas at my favorite pizza establishment, Papa Murphy's. I don't think I'm going to leave $300 behind in the test of the powers of humanity and decency this time. I think I'm just going to buy the pizzas and go. I'm going to visit my brother. I'm going to visit my little niece, Baby Blueberry, and one of my good friends, one of the most fiercely competitive human beings in the world, is coming over to visit my brother and myself at my brother's house. I call him Ubermensch. Now, I have another video camera that's black that I've been using. Oh, soup. Sorry, I get distracted easily by the word soup. And I wish I could pick up every piece of litter, but I suppose maybe, you know what? I'm going to pick up that piece of litter because it has the word soup on it. Normally I'm an only cigarette litter guy because one guy can't solve all the litter problems of the world, but maybe there's a guy out there that says, you know what? I pick up only creamy butternut squash organic soup. And I have furthered his cause by picking up this random box of soup. Now, isn't that kind of funny? You would think that a person that buys organic creamy butternut squash would be all about the environment and trying to make the world a better place. But here they are littering their crap on my beautiful world. Is that, I don't know, that's a megalomaniac statement? This is my beautiful world. It's our beautiful world, but that means it's mine too. Now, I was racing this guy in the scooter up here. I might have to go say hi to him. Oh, beautiful day. Saw so many people out walking their dogs today. I wish I had a husky right here beside me, well trained. That would be a little bit slice of paradise. How's it going, gentlemen? I was racing this guy. He had me beat.
There you go.
I need to get one of those things. My name's Jerry, by the way.
Dennis.
Dennis, well, I'll remember you because you're the one with the hot ride, and you are?
Dave.
Dave, pleased to meet you.
You too.
Oh, I need one of them scooters. If I had a scooter like that, my runs would be a lot easier. Dennis and Dave. Soup Can shares one of those names. I'm not going to say which one, but it does kind of narrow it down to 50-50. Is the secret identity of Soup Can Dennis or Dave? I don't know. I try to go out of my way to say hello to people. And I'll remember Dennis forever because I think Dennis the Menace would love driving around in one of those things. I could see in my mind Dennis the Menace like stealing Mr. Wilson's little scooter and driving over ramps and such, and I'm making a little story about that in my mind. And I'm quite sure I'll never forget Dennis for as long as I live. I know I'll never forget Soup Can for as long as I live. Now, back to Ubermensch. Sorry, how am I doing on time here? 5 minutes. And how am I doing on I got 6:20. Because the thing is, if I want to put this video on YouTube, I can only put it on there for if it's 15 minutes or less. My ability to make really, really, really long videos has been revoked. I'm guessing that the YouTube gnomes voted and said, you know what? This guy talks too much. He's got too much free time on his hands. We're taking away his executive privilege to make YouTube videos that are an hour long. That's a pity. That is a pity. We're back to Ubermensch. One of the most fiercely competitive human beings I've ever met in my life, save myself. Or perhaps my little sister, the Ice Princess. I have started a project that I've talked about a couple times on my videos. It's a board game. Like Sorry, Trouble, Risk, Scrabble. You know, those are the classic board games that are in every Walmart and you see on the shelves, and they've been on the shelves for decades. What I think a lot of people don't know is that there are probably as many board games made each and every year as there are cans of soup. I mean, there are a lot of board games out there. Thousands and thousands and thousands of board games. Some of them are lemons and some of them are real peaches. Now, when I was young and I spent a lot of time with my brother, we played a lot of games. Our parents always bought us tons of games, gave us tons of toys, but being the entrepreneurs of imagination that we were, we always had house rules. And when the house rules weren't good enough, balls. All right, that's kind of random, but I'll take that too. Maybe make the world a better place with some soup and some balls. We made our own board games as early as 8, 9, 10 years old. We made board games that we thought were more fun than the ones that came in the box. And I don't think it was because we were biased either, you know, like this is our creation, this is our baby. No, it was just fun. And having fun is something that people like to do no matter how old they are. I think that some people forget that. Some people think that, you know what, turning $1,000 into $10,000 into $100,000 into $1 million is fun, but that isn't fun for me. Those zeros end up swallowing you whole, and when you can't get that next zero, because eventually you can't. I really don't think Bill Gates is ever going to have like $60 billion or $100 billion or $1 trillion. Eventually, your dreams kind of flicker out and fade, and when you go for those zeros. But I have an idea for a board game that could be a lot of fun, and I hope that Ubermensch, as uber competitive as he is the guy that helps make it possible. We have gone the gambit on so many things together. Like if we play a game, we're both the people that know how to exploit every loophole and every rule So if the game is going to be a success, if it's going to be competitive, if it's going to be worthwhile, having your worst enemy, so to speak, take it, exploit it, and try to ruin it is the best course of action. And that doesn't sound like, kind of on the same token, if I wrote a piece of literature, if I wrote a book, I wouldn't want my best friends to read it. I would want my worst critic to read it and tear it up, try to chew it up and spit it out, and see if they made an impact, see if they could make the book better. All right, I'm gonna gamble. I'm gonna walk by the train tracks and see if I can find another random cigarette pack. 'Cause I swear, those lonesome souls on the railroad always seem to chuck a cigarette wrapper or two along the tracks, leaving their marks on the world. Beer bottles too, but most of the time the beer bottles are broken into a billion pieces. I'm just doing all kinds of good deeds today. I got some beer, some balls, and some soup. Now, there is a good possibility, I would say a very, very great possibility, that this neighborhood right here is going to be home and habitat to a young little girl somewhere in the neighborhood of between 2 and 3 years old. And I'm going to do everything to make this place safer and better and a happier place for a child to grow up, live at, and be loved at. And I think that includes expanding my duties to include picking up broken beer bottles, as long as cigarette packs and boxes of soup. Now, I've been working so hard this last week, working so many hours. I've been using some of that time to my advantage by working on my board game and getting paid for it. And that's kind of smart, but I have a feeling that in the near future, I'm going to really start working smarter instead of working harder. It's time to use my brains and my creativity for other means and other ends. And still no cigarette packs. And I can't wait to see what comes out. Because I've always known that I could do something great. And I feel I do something great each and every day. And that because I'm not interested in selling it or making money off of it, that's what really makes it great. Because it's as simple as finding something for $1 and selling it for $2. My buddy Soup Can, God bless him, and I love him, one of his favorite things to do in the whole world is go to a rummage sale, find something that a little old lady is selling, let's say from World War II. Let's say there's a helmet for sale from World War II, and she's selling it for $1. And Soup buys it and realizes that, this thing is a treasure. And then he goes around and sells it on eBay for, let's say, $5 or $10 or $20, making an instant profit of, 500%. I'm the type of guy that if I knew that helmet was worth that much, I'd either tell the lady about it or buy it and do something special with the money to make her day a brighter day. Like everybody in the world can use a little happiness and a little joy. And I'm hoping that one of my ideas really, really drives that point home. My 15 minutes are up.